It's okay, we're not going to get lurkers versus lurkers again, right?
Right? We'll see as we load into inside and also out, where over here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Britain, representing New Zealand. He is, of course, going to be representing himself as he's currently teamless. You know him as RiSky. We know him as Enjoyer.
Oh, shaking my head. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the Indian Zerg player. He just took down the Pakistani Protoss. He just took down the best Zerg player in all of Australia, representing Alpha X. It is Demi.
And maybe we'll see this again later on in the tournament, or maybe we won't, but honestly, like, I feel like this could be the qualifying match already.
It really could. I mean, so talking about the players a little bit, talking about RiSky a little bit here as we get into this, he's always an enigma. For those who don't know, he is retired like 10 times.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say.
He's constantly taking breaks from StarCraft, so every now and then he pokes up his head and he returns. I say every now and then, it's basically like every DreamHack season or every other DreamHack season. And everyone always has a bit of a question mark surrounding him, you know, like, what is his current skill level? What's he at? Is he in peak condition? Is he warmed up? Is he rusty? Is he out of practice? It's really hard to kind of, get that read on where he's at the moment.
Yeah. On the other hand, we got Demi.
It is Demi.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yeah. There he is.
Yeah.
What do you know?
But, yeah, obviously Demi. I mean, again, it's also kind of difficult to gauge Demi's skill level. I mean, he is a bit more active. He plays a lot in online tournaments, especially the OSC kind of tournaments. And, yeah, so we normally have somewhat of an expectation of how he's going to play at any given point. But he is also one of those players who, I mean, RiSky has said that he's taken some inspiration from Demi to adapt his own style. So maybe that's going to be a factor in this match. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, because Demi's a very consistent player, as you were saying. You know, we can always rely on him to be actively laddering, to be actively participating in online tournaments like your Sparkling Tuna Cups, like your OSC King of the Hills and OSC Masters Cups. Like, Demi is always there, always maintaining his skill, I think is what we can say. I don't know if he's ever really, or it takes a while for him to really kind of unlock a new gate and like break on through and achieve higher levels, which he has done over the past year, I want to say. But how does he compare to an old school veteran like RiSky is the question. So far in the ZvZ, we do see some pretty standard openers: hatch, gas, pool, third base on time. Unlike our series against Oreo, this is the most macro ZvZ we've seen today.
Yeah, I mean, what are we looking at? I mean, no pool first?
What? Yeah. No 12 pool?
Safety banes?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Third bases? Cha?
They're crazy, but are they really representing the Southeast Asian region? Is this real? Yes, both players are going for +1 carapace as well, which means both players are looking to get into Lings and Roaches.
Yeah, a little bit more active than your standard Roach v Roach, but yeah, still going to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more conservative, very economic focus, this unit composition.
Yeah, here we go. Roaches are thrown. So Roach Warren, are thrown down for both players. They should be cutting drones soon and making nothing but Roaches and Lings. They're going to be hitting a very strong timing with that carapace. And of course, the added bonus of this carapace is that it means your Roaches are that much tankier. They can survive Ling surrounds that much longer as well. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on things. It looks like RiSky has already cut drones here at 44. Demi has droned up a little bit more instead.
Yeah, and he does have that wall off here, so he is going to be pretty safe, but it does mean that RiSky is a player with the map control, and he can take full advantage of that to do whatever he wants, really.
Yeah, exactly. So both players are just going to be making nothing but lings and roaches from now on forward. Demi does have a little bit of a superior economy, but we're working with the same larva anyway, so we'll see if that really does come into play. A Baneling is being morphed in, but is it a little bit too late? Looks like it should finish up just in time.
Yeah, and that's gonna be just about enough of a deterrent for RiSky here, at least until his own Baneling gets thrown into the mix.
Yeah, and it looks like Demi's going to lose his own Baneling there. Meanwhile, roaches are coming out. Demi should be able to push this back, but no, RiSky's going for a bit of a run by.
Yeah, he rotates around, and he immediately catches a couple of roaches here of Demi. Not a good start to this fight at all. Demi actually forced to turn immediately around with all of his units.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise, we do see roaches in the way from RiSky. It looks like both players, though, have decided, okay, we're both going for the same builds. We're both going for +1 carry pace. We are kind of bouncing off each other, and both players are droning.
Huh.
There you go.
Cue the Spider-Man meme, yeah.
Yeah, so very mirrored styles here. I was talking with Asher about this when we were casting WTL, because Scarlet did this build as well. This has become very meta as kind of like a macro opener where you have like a period where you can be hyper aggressive, and then as soon as that aggression like subsides, then you can just drone off from there and transition.
Yeah, which is exactly what both of our players are doing right now. Demi, once again, going to be the player to be a little bit more greedy and droning up a little bit harder. RiSky taking precautions, throwing down a bit of side defense just in case. Either way, both players pretty much end up in the same position.
Well, both players are trying to take their fourth bases, but it looks like Demi has been distracted. We see it cancel the fourth base at the same time. A Ling run by in towards the third. Banelings are going to be able to clean this up, but Demi does come out behind after that skirmish.
Yeah, Demi's attention is definitely being stretched to its limits right now. RiSky taking advantage of that advantage and just making a bigger army wherever he can. Again, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and Demi, it looks like he is opting to approach this in a bit of a different way. He starts up a Spire. Doesn't necessarily need to go into mass muta, but having 5 to 6 mutas just to gain map control, just to clear up overlords and push away his opponents, it's a great way to get a bit of an edge.
Exactly. He needs to do something different than just mirroring his opponent right now in order to get back in this game. And taking the map control with mutas, or even sneaking around and sniping a mineral line, those are all options that he can utilize with just 5 or 6 mutalists.
Yeah, as both players scout each other with these overseers, RiSky did spot that Spire, by the way, behind the mineral line, but has he really? Because he has opted not to turn around with his own overlords, and we see why. He is getting overlord speed, so he's going to be waiting until the last moment before he does turn them around.
Huh. Not a bad idea. I mean, just maximizes how much vision he has on the map before he really retreats. He's not getting any spore crawlers, and this is why RiSky knows he has plenty of roaches. He knows he has way more than Demi does, and he's trying to end the game before the mutas really come into play, or at least cripple Demi before those mutas come into play.
We'll see if he can pull it up, because you know what, the mutas, they do reveal themselves, and now RiSky has to commit. He has to go all in with these roaches and ravagers.
And there's definitely an opportunity for him to do so. Again, he has way more roaches than Demi has right now, but Demi has a slightly better concave. Is that going to be enough to overwhelm the numbers difference that RiSky has? Apparently not, as RiSky pushes all the way in. He
just breaks on through the defensive line of Demi. Those mutas are raining hellfire from the skies, and they will eventually clean this up with the defender's advantage. Demi is barely trickling in a couple of roaches and lings, and it looks like he may be able to barely clean this up. Can he clean this up without losing any workers?
Yo, these mutas, I mean, they do just tickle the roaches, but they are doing just enough to help out the roaches of Demi.
Oh, they really are, but is it going to be enough? Because you know what? Roaches just keep rallying across the map. RiSky wants to just straight up end the game. It looks like 2 drones have gone down, but only 2. Demi still maintains a worker lead.
He does maintain that worker lead, but he does not have an army available for him anymore. Roaches are popping up individually right now and immediately getting isolated by the roaches of RiSky.
Yeah.
Just camping the production. Why not?
He's being pulled apart. We have reinforcements hitting that triangular third base as well. Demi is losing drone after drone. Finally, he's going to regain control of his own main. And it looks like he is going to be able to muster enough of an army. Oh, he gets surrounded.
Yeah, this tri-prong attack come down here. That's kind of the double-edged sword of defending on inside and out.
Yeah, exactly, and it looks like Demi's going to be losing a lot here in the defense. The beginning wasn't looking too bad, but look at this, 14 drones have gone down. And behind this, RiSky has a Hydra Den. He is getting ready to switch into those Hydras.
And eventually Lurkers, but we were spared from that fate, thankfully. GG, RiSky takes game number 1.
GG, that was a pretty close defense. But we saw that RiSky was more than ready to just send everything across the map and not really care too much about those mutants.
Yeah. That's why you really want to keep the Spire and the Mutalisk hidden for as long as possible, because once it's scouted, it triggers a response from the Roach player, like we just saw.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also, I mean, props to RiSky for scouting the Spire when he did with his Overseer. It did kind of, as you said, just give him a bit of a tell of what he wanted to do. Did he want to try and transition tech-wise or just press his army advantage? And it was just make nothing but Roach Ravager, just try and do what he could. It was a pretty close defense, though. Like, Demi was doing well for a while there.
Yeah, if a couple of Roaches popped out in a different position, or there was a slightly different concave going on in the third base location, then I think Demi would have been able to hold on, and we would still be in that game. But we were spared the late game, ZvZ. We were spared from the Lunkers, so we're going into game number 2 now.
We were spared from the Lunkers, Papi. As now we are getting ready for game number 2. RiSky just needs one more to advance on to face Pez. Demi, he's up against the wall. He has to fight back. He needs to win this game to bring it to the ace match.
And then he needs to win that other game in order to make it to that upper bracket finals.
Oh, exactly. Pez has been patiently waiting this entire time. Hopefully he is still awake. Hopefully he has not gone to bed. I'm really looking forward to it. I really want to see Pez.
Yeah, I want to see Pez's PvZ in action coming in. Facing either Demi or RiSky would definitely be a test here for him.
We shall see, especially because the PvZ of Pez, we haven't seen it in a long time because there were no Zergs in ANZ Champs.
Yeah.
Feels bad.
That, and he's been playing as Tez.
He has. He self-admittedly has said that he has been laddering more as Terran than as Protoss recently, and he was able to unveil that a little bit in ANZ Champs in the playoffs, but... Go on.
Yeah. That's why he was able to beat all the Terran players.
True. He just knows.
He became one with the man with gun.
Was inside the man with gun.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series here on Cosmic Sapphire. We're in the top left-hand corner map, fighting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Britain, representing New Zealand. He is, of course, going to be representing himself as well as Clan Storm G. Not really sure what that means. Storm G. He is RiSky.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Indian Zerg player himself, representing Alpha X. It is Demi. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, I want to give a special shout out to Chileno Singaporean. Gracias, papi, gracias, for supporting us for 22 months, almost 2 years, Twitch subscriber. Gracias, papi, gracias.
Gracias, papi.
Oh my god, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, Chileno Singapore, he really does kind of embrace, you know what he is, Yaku?
Yeah.
I don't know how, but he's somehow related to the two of us, you know? He's got the Chileno and he's got the Singaporean.
Yeah. He's got the Inca Cola and he's also got the kumquat juice.
He's got the Platypus Cantina. He owns the Platypus Cantina. It makes sense. It makes sense. He doesn't know how to cook. I love you, Chileno Singaporean. I love you. We just have a really bad experience with a Mexican food place, restaurant in Singapore.
Yep. I found out they opened up another outlet right across where I live.
Animals.
I don't see how that's possible. I didn't realize they were making money.
I judge the people that eat there regularly. Oh god, but alas, regardless, we do see us opening into the ZvZ, and once again, no early pools.
Yeah, very economic. Makes sense. We are on Cosmic Sapphire after all. Very long rush distance. You should be able to defend aggression by just playing economic.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Hatchcat's pool openers, we see a third base is being taken on location on time as well. RiSky doesn't take any risks as he does go for that defensive Baneling nest. Demi, for the time being, has opted to skip his own, and we'll see if he opts to just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, we're looking out for a Roach Warren, potentially. It's definitely one way of avoiding the Lingbane matches.
Yeah, we got a lot of links on the way, by the way. Oh, Demi, he's done droning.
Lot of links coming down. Jeez.
Oh my god, he's just hammering down that Z key, Papi. He wants the game to be over one way or another. This link scout is pretty important, and oh, he does scout a couple more links. Not all of them, though, as yeah, they are being revealed here, and now RiSky knows he just has to hold on to his natural.
Yeah, he's got a couple of Banelings right now, and that is all he's going to need to defend as long as he's able to get those connections.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if Demi can get this third base. So far, he just has a mass swarm of lings right now. Banelings are rolling on forward. Can he get the connections that he needs?
Not taking his chances right now. Demi isn't. Dipping back in, trying to see what he can get away with. Not a whole lot. As he immediately turns right back around. Yeah,
he backs off in the end. He's going to drone up. He did save resources skipping the Baneling nest, by the way, so he goes straight to a Roach Warren. Demi is transitioning from here. This mass amount of lings didn't really accomplish what it wanted to. He didn't deny the third. He didn't really kill too much either. But at least he forced RiSky to make his own amount of lings and Banes.
Yeah, at least RiSky wasn't able to drone up over here, so that's kind of valuable for Demi.
A little bit.
He's still behind in the worker count, but
yeah, exactly. Like these lings, they didn't fully pay for themselves in the end. So a little bit of a rough investment there from Demi. We'll see if he can recover and make up for it in other aspects, as he has already started his Roach production. We do see now RiSky going for his own little bit of a poke and prod. Shouldn't really be dealing too much damage, but he does confirm that we are saturating the third.
Yeah, Demi has started to re-drone, so RiSky can take a breath, take a step back, and just drone up himself, get his tech as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, RiSky is working on his lair at this point. He has his Evo chamber to get into +1 range, to get into his upgrades. Like, he's honestly macroing quite well, and it just feels like after that opener, Demi is on the back foot, and we see what the plan is. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Demi has cut drones. He's making nothing but lings and roaches. He is going for a second wave.
Yeah. Wise man once said, if you don't win with lings, you win with roaches.
Who said that?
I did.
As the roaches of Demi are pushing on forward here. I love that RiSky is keeping these Banelings back, but it looks like one of them has been sniped. The second one has been sniped as well, and the lings of Demi are going into the natural. They're coming back around for a surround. Oh no!
Yeah, still a couple of Banelings over here though for RiSky, and they do connect with those lings. A lot of damage has been done to the attack force of Demi. But can RiSky still hold on here? I believe he can with the defender's advantage.
Yeah, but you know what? The third base 100% is going to be going down here. One more volley. There we go. It goes down. But at the same time, Demi gets surrounded.
Yeah, with the Brootlings and the Lings to help out. And now RiSky has a little bit of an army to go for a bit of a counterattack. He still has his lair, obviously, so yeah, he's going to be ahead in that regard as well. Still has to be very careful about these Lings.
Really does. Like, even though Demi killed the third base, look at the drone count. Demi is still behind, especially because in a panic he's throwing down spine crawlers, a little bit worried that he would have died to a counterattack. He probably would have, to be honest. He didn't really have too much. Only just now roaches are coming out. And RiSky is taking a risk. He's going straight to a spire.
Ooh. That's what he meant when he said that he takes notes from Demi.
There you go.
He is going to be the Muta Man this time.
Yeah, the Muta Man himself. Demi's on the back foot. He's licking his wounds. He's trying to recover from his own aggression, from his own choices and decisions in this game. As he is droning his third base, getting his upgrades. Like, he's getting a pretty robust Roach Ravager army, but he needs to scout that spire.
Yeah, Overseer now diving on in. There are plenty of queens here to try to deflect that, though. He should be able to see it.
Oh, yeah, it looks like the queens were not there in time. The Overseer does go down, but 1-2 seconds too late as he does scout the spire and immediately responds with a Hydra Den.
A little bit of a different response to seeing the spire. We saw in the last game, RiSky, because he didn't lose too much, just invested everything into roaches and went for a failed push. Demi still behind when it comes to the army, so he is taking it a little bit safer. He is just getting the Hydra Den.
Yeah, he's pulling back all of his overlords as well, recognizing that he doesn't want to get supply blocked. He's stuck on these 3 bases, but his economy is looking quite powerful. You know, he's fully saturated now on these 3 bases. He can soon take a 4th. Holding on to the 4th is going to be a little bit difficult, especially without creep. So we'll see when and where he takes it, as RiSky is free to just take whatever base he wants.
Yeah, it's the power of the mutas, the power of the map control.
Yeah, the power of the muta. As we do see RiSky just gaining that map control here. Not really over-investing in the mutas. In the end, he did only make 6.
Yeah, just gonna try to get some economic damage, maybe snipe a couple of Overseers wherever he can. Worst comes to worst, you can always use that against the Lings or potentially the Banelings of Demi.
Oh, at the same time, Demi goes for his own Ling Rama. He gets a full surround on the 4th base, and it looks like he will force a cancel.
Nicely done here. Whatever Demi can really do to slow down the economy of RiSky is still going to be valuable for him, as he is going to have to play a little bit of catch-up. I mean, he does have the Hydras out now, but he needs to be careful not to overinvest in them. There are only 6 Mutalisks out.
Exactly. A couple of Hydras is good, too many is not. As Demi was able to take or get rid of one of the advantages that RiSky had in the denial of that 4th base. Meanwhile, RiSky is doing a great job at keeping Demi on 3 bases as he comes in once again. Can he force a second cancel?
I think he will.
Oh.
This is way too many Zerglings coming in over here. They get distracted by the drone! And it saves the life of that hatchery. In the end, 2 drones. I don't know if that was worth it, man.
Yeah, like Demi was too greedy there. He queued up those Lings to attack the drones instead, and 100%, if every single Ling there was attacking the space, it would have been a cancel or a kill.
Yeah, one or the other. Either way, you know, RiSky would be in a worse economic position than he is right now. He is now maxed out, and he is looking to make one big push to try to at least cripple the economy of Demi.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, I feel another Lunker versus Lunker game coming before us, just saying.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. As RiSky is going for his own hive, and he's going for his own Hydra Den as well. We do see him trying to break in at the same time. Mutas, do take down the gas geyser in the main of Demi.
Yeah, not too bad going on over there.
Uh-oh.
It's not really an easy response here. No, the Lings slip on into the natural, and now the main, that wall was not in fact a wall.
Oh,
and
God.
Swarfall is fun pack, cannot shoot down.
Yeah, at the same time, Demi's going for a massive counterattack. His roaches do slip in towards the natural base of RiSky. At the same time, his main army is pushing forward as well. Demi is being forced into a really difficult position, but at the same time, at least he is dealing counter damage as more drones go down.
Finally, this base will be killed.
Yeah, the base will be killed. Both players are really hurting economically, but both players also have some really massive roach armies.
Yeah, Demi's is a little bit larger, obviously due to the mutas of RiSky, and because RiSky has a bit of a higher worker count, but that doesn't really tell the full story here. With good enough positioning, you can always overcome a supply deficit.
Yeah, it's all about that concave, that convex. We do see RiSky trying to push himself up this ramp. No one has a lurker done yet, so we're just working with these Roach, Ravager, Hydra armies. Demi trying to find a way up this ramp, trying to find a way in. And it looks like he kind of is, but he's going to take some biles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, nice split right at the end over there, but this is a really good concave from RiSky. He's pulling a couple of boys, which I feel like he doesn't really need to, but yeah, he's pulling them back. And now he's chased Demi back to behind his choke point. It should be fine.
Yeah, he does force Demi back, and now we have to take stock here. We are pretty similar in the worker count. We're even in bases. RiSky is trying to get that 4th up again for the 3rd time. Doesn't have it up yet. We do see that this entire time, RiSky has had an upgrade advantage, +2 to the +1 of Demi, but that advantage is soon going to close here in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, equalize that out, but I believe RiSky has a hive?
He does.
He does. There we go.
Yeah, he can't do anything with it right now, but he does have it. Meanwhile, immediately we see it canceled there for Demi, forced to try and expand in a little bit of a different direction. And Demi is not going for lurkers anytime soon. He's doubling down on roaches, going for burrow.
Wait, do lurkers attack burrowed units if there's detection?
Yes.
I feel like they should.
Yeah, they do, yeah. I have to think about that for a minute. I was like, what are you saying? Yes. Oh boy, we have another roach run by here. Lurker Den is on the horizon, as you were pointing out. This is going to force the attention of RiSky back a little bit here, and we'll see if anyone takes any big files. Oh no, Demi, no, the queen!
No! The queen just got a little too brave for its own good.
Yeah, a little bit too fresh. Meanwhile, we do see Demi. The target firing is pretty good here. 3 drones go down. Demi takes a little bit of a worker lead, but he still has to wait a little bit longer here for that burrow. And even if he does get it, he can't send away too much, because if he does, his defensive army is going to be that much weaker, and then maybe RiSky can push in.
Yeah, maybe he can burrow and then tunnel under and then tunnel behind RiSky's army, maybe to get a bit of a surround, but that requires a lot of timing and finesse to pull off.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't know if Sharks are really known for that sort of thing here, as RiSky does pull apart Demi a little bit. Demi thankfully had a spine in position, so he doesn't lose too much of his economy. Both players just kind of posturing here, and I think this is just better for RiSky, because RiSky, he's taking up, and he will have a superior army if allowed to.
Yeah, eventually here. Demi is on the back foot, but he needs to do more than just defend if he wants to win this map.
Yeah, like he invested into burrow and he just hasn't been able to use it. Meanwhile, we do see RiSky with the numbers. He is going to be able to take down every single one of these roaches.
Yeah, and pretty soon going to be able to take out that base as well. Demi is turning around now to try to deal with that. For a sec, I thought he just had enough and would go across the map.
He does turn around in the end, but he loses 10 workers in the process, and Groove Spines is now done. +3 is on the way. Demi is on Lair Tech, by the way. He doesn't have any detection.
Uh-oh. A lot of bile do land on top of Demi's army. The lurkers on the top of the hill. It's giving me some PTSD. GG is called. RiSky will take that series 2-0, moving on to face Pez in the winners match. Or the upper bracket final, as they call it.
Oh, GG, well played to RiSky. Demi was just so in his face that game. Time and time again, he would just go for these massive pushes, but the defense of RiSky was just a little bit too strong in the end. And yeah, he was able to just weather the storm until he got those lurkers out, and that was just the winning move there for RiSky. Demi had no answers to the lunkers, puppy.
Yeah, none whatsoever. I'd have to ask him, what the plan with Tunneling Claws over there was. I imagine it was to just, break out, or not necessarily even break out, but to just send a couple of harassment forces to keep RiSky's economy down. But because of how active and because of how aggressive RiSky was being that game, he just never had the chance.
Yeah, he never had the chance, and yeah, because of that, he does bow out here in the upper bracket. He gets forced down to the lower bracket instead, where he will be facing Piglet in lower round 3.